Let's see. Hi, everybody. Ooh, look at my hair. Looks a little crazy. Anyway, welcome to Intermediate Hula. We're doing week 2 of ʻaina Kini today. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Started my music too early. Okay. A couple quick things before we start. We're just going to dive right in, but just a reminder on a few things. We're going to start with our warm-up and stretch. Don't forget to listen to your body and really make sure you get that good warm-up, get that good stretch. All the stretches that I do are suggestions. Obviously, you do your own thing. If you have a certain kind of set of stretches that you like, then I want you to do those, or just I want you to feel what was right for your body. Any modifications that you need to do to feel like you are stretching are good. Throughout class, like normally, of course, you're going to be mimicking the things that I'm doing, but when we're stretching, that's got to be specific to your body. So don't try to do the things that I'm doing if you can't, or if your body doesn't like it. Just change it so that you're still stretching those main muscle groups, especially focusing on your legs and the muscles around your hips, so we can build that range of motion and make sure we're keeping everything safe for ourselves. You're dancing at your own risk, so I really want you to be aware of that and be careful. Number 2 is, if you want to support the LA Belly Dance Academy for providing this platform for us, that would be awesome if you can. No worries if you can't, because the whole point of this is that we're all here dancing together. That's the most important thing. But you can do so by using that little money sign button in the chat box. You can do it that way, or you can send money directly through the LA Belly Dance Academy website, or not. It's totally fine too. Everybody's in a different place. And again, sorry, I'm petting my cat and he's shedding everywhere while we're dancing. I'm hoping if I pet him now, then he'll not bug me during class, but we both know that's not true. Anyway, last but not least, if you have a kumu hula or a teacher out there in the real world, I want to make sure that you are checking with them before you're taking these classes. Very important that we keep our protocol, keep respect. Don't get in trouble when you come back to class and they're like, what were you doing? They might have some preferences on that, or some advice or opinions, and we just want to make sure that we're keeping that respect. Yes, feeling very inspired today. The last 2 days, I was taking Manu Boyd's workshop that was put on by Hula through Kumakawi Deliri, who is so wonderful. They're all so wonderful. I've been studying with Kawi now for a little while, and she's just fantastic. And obviously, her history is just amazing. And Manu Boyd is so incredibly knowledgeable. You learn so much from him, just all these little snippets just constantly through class, and really providing the kind of mana'o that you don't normally get from some teachers. He really just has this richness of knowledge and experience from his own personal lineage, and also from his really super extensive hula study and experience. Also his Olelo Hawaii, his means of teaching it, and the way that he, passes on these things. It's just really valuable. So if you ever get the opportunity to take any workshops from Manu Boyd, please do. Or Kaui Deliri. I met her originally last year when she came for a workshop in Los Angeles. And I also met Manu Boyd. I've taken a few workshops of his when he came through to give workshops as part of Ihulamau in Long Beach. So obviously it's COVID times, so I don't know when those workshops are going to start happening again, but eventually when they do them. And in the meantime, when we've got these, I think that Kumu Kawi is going to be starting these workshops monthly with different kumu hula. So just highly recommend it. And I'll post more info on that stuff. Anyway, enough talking. We're going to start with our warm up and stretch. Push yourself. This is the intermediate class, so I want you to go for it safely, and give me 20 minutes. Yes, we're going to do 20 minutes of warm-up, stretch, technique, a little bit of workout. Push yourself a little bit as you go so that you can get the heart rate up, get yourself nice and warm and stretched. And I think Lincoln's going to be joining us for this one, because he's in a friendly mood this morning. Huh, Linky? All right, here we go. Follow me. Alright, start with your ummies, big ummies, nice and wide apart. Follow my tempo. Start back left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Switch side. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And let's switch double time. Here we go. Back. 1, 2, 1, 2. Use your knees. Hold her steady. Keep going back. Front. And switch. 2, 1, 2. All the way around. Keep going. Keep it nice and even on both sides. And switch. A little bit low if you can. Keep going. And back. Front. Front. And switch. 1, 2. Elbows up. 1, 2. 1, 2. Got it. Alright, keep it in. Back. 1, 2. Keep the elbow nice and high. Keep the shoulder steady. Keep your feet flat. Switch. Good job. Keep going. Make sure your feet are straight. Switch. 4 and then 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 20. 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 4 and then 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. Switch. 2 up, 2 down. 2 down. Up. And switch. Down, up, down. 1, 2, now up. 1, 2, up. Good, again, switch. Keep the elbow up, shoulder steady, down. Up. Switch. Drop. Up. Good. All right, let's stretch. Ready? Let's start by reaching up. Remember to modify these important things that you're stretching. Up on your toes. Up. Up and down to squats. Reach up. Over here, reach up. And down, all together. Up and over to the side. Over here. Reach over. And reach up. With the flat back, you can take the weights and reach forward. And side step. Up and down. And only to one side. And turn. Roll, roll, roll.
Now when I wake up and see the morning sunshine, paint a picture of
And
a
here.
big shot at you.
And I'm gonna let it down.
Hold your body close and pull your skin next to mine over the take. Just a little more time to have another sip, girl. Your kiss tastes like wine. Take a handle like oh my God, like oh one day.
And I'm gonna turn. If you're down here with me, I'm gonna go on to my heel and just see where my balance is. And then point it towards you, stretch it out to the left.
That's so divine. Take a handle like
Yeah, back up, down to center. And the other side.
We take a joyride. I'ma go up on Sunday east side. I take you to a place where the sun shines. Where you can dance and so and you realize it's heavily, heavily getting out there. Down in the valley. My B.O.S. it is the bomb there. My native people living happy. No fuss, confusion, and no worry. Need no money, I'm living this free.
Remember the joke that's the one that's like
You must see. You love me, my B.O. Valley. The most spectacular and incinerating. Everywhere you look, a beautiful with greenery. From mountains, arrows to droppings and sea. I must let you come follow me. Follow me, follow me, follow me.
down. Try to balance on this side. And towards you, stretch back the leg. All right, let's get ready for our aloha drill. Ready? Bring your feet in. Little lesson, shoulder width apart, super straight. Let's bend. And hands here. Aloha. So I can go backwards. I'm going right, left. You should have mirror, you guys. So I'm going to switch. Ready? Now I'm going left. You hear me. Right, left. Right. Out. Stretch your hands. And let's go in. Princess arrived. Stretch, buddy. Stretching, relaxing. Remember when you bring your hands in to keep your elbows up. Keep going. Even though I'm going to stop, I want you to keep going. So in, out, up, down. Keep going. Check in with your feet. Make sure your feet are straight, nice and straight, a little less than shoulder width apart. In, out, up, down. Keep going. Make sure your fingers are together. Make sure your thumb is alongside your hand here. Up. Don't make it too fancy. We're warming up the hands. Keep your attention on your hands. See how stable my shoulders are? You want to make sure your shoulders are going to help like this. That's not what we want, right? We want our shoulders to stay nice and still. Aloha. Good job. Let's keep our warm up going. A little bit of We'll let's start with our kahiko. Here we go. Kahiko. Push, push, push. Be steady. Hands up. Wow, keep going. Let's go forward side. Ready? This is 2. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go back to 1 here. 2 cycles of this. Now 2. 1. And 2. Let's go 3. Ready? Hands up. Right here. Other side. Go back to 1. That's 3. 1. Again, number 1. 2. Again. 3. Again. 1. Oh wait, another side over. Sorry. Have to. Now 3. 1. And good job, 2. Ooh, good job. Roll your shoulders. Give me one more song. Ready?
One click, there you go. Okay, here we go. Mahalo. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Aloha. Hands up. Aloha. Okay. Mahalo. Ready? Point. Okay, ready? 4 aloha. Imoa. 1, 2, 3. Keep open. 1, 2, 3. Mahalo. 1, 2, and down. 1, 2. So 4 aloha. 1, 2, 3. Keep open. 1, 2, 3. Mahalo. 4. 1, 2, 4 and drop. 1, 2. Aloha. 1, 2. Keep open. 1, 2, 3. Mahalo. 1, 2, 3. Drop. Aloha. Keep your feet straight. Aloha. Ahead. 4 ahead. 1, 2, 3, and drop. 1, 2, 3. Aloha. 1, 2, 3. Keep open. 1, 2, 3. Mahalo. 1, 2, 3. And drop. 1, 2. Ahead. Up. And drop. Mahalo. Let's add some. 1, 2, 3. Keep open. 1, 2, 3. 4. Mahalo. And drop. Ahead. Let's go here. 2, 3, and drop. And make your sun pull off your aloha. 1, 2, 3. Keep open. 1, 2. Hands here. Pull up. And drop. Ahead. And drop. Hey, keep your wet head here. Keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Let's do side kaholo. So I'm going to switch to mirror view. So I'm going to go to the left, you go to the right. Ready? So side kaholo. Here we go. Start with your right foot. Good. Left. Right. Okay, ready? 8 ahead. 1, 2, 3. Shoulder steady. 5, 6. Again, side kaholo. 1. And right. Left. Ahead. Okay. Don't rock your shoulders, so don't look like this. Tap the hands. 2 taps of hands for our side kaholo. Open here, look at your hand. And now elbow up, look. And way ahead. So if you can do it with yourself, your shoulders, your elbows should be still here. Not like this, right? Side kaholo. Watch your hand. Elbow up, look. Elbows up here, way ahead. Okay, challenge yourself. Hold your elbows still. I don't want to see this. Hold them still. Side kaholo. And elbows up. Okay. Keep it strong. Side kaholo. Bye-bye. Woo. Good job, everybody. Yay, 20 minutes. Good job. Okay, get some water or tea. All right. And if you're taking notes, grab your stuff for that. Whew. Goodness. That got my heart rate up. I hope it did yours too. All right. Lots of info to get through today, so I'm going to try to stay on track and not go off the rails, but best laid plans. Here we go. Okay, so we're learning ʻaina Kini, right? And as we talked about last week, And Kini was written as an anthem for the people who lived on Kalaupapa, which is, it was a settlement that was put together for the people who were afflicted with Hansen's disease to live, so that they would be kept isolated from the rest of the community, because not a lot was known about the disease at the time, and people were very afraid of it, especially the Board of Health. The Board of Health was receiving information from doctors who were warning about, the possible widespread outbreak of this disease. And it's also important to remember that this is a time when people are just coming out of other epidemics, things like smallpox, measles, that had literally decimated the Hawaiian population. They had, people were afraid of this huge illness spreading through again. And I think especially because when you unfortunately have a disease like Hansen's disease, which used to be known as leprosy, when you have something that can be very physically afflicting, very physically, the outward appearance of a person can change, then I think that especially plays on people's fears. And the answer to those problems is education and knowledge, right? And experience. It's the answer can't be fear, or else you have what you had with Kalaupapa, and which we're going to get into today. And I want to preface this by saying the things that I'm very much into learning what we can from the past to react to what's going on in the present. And so my point of view, this very much, besides the obvious ties into kind of an illness afflicting people and how everyone's reacting to it, I want to make something very clear. And that is that for me, and I think the coronavirus, COVID, is really serious. It's a pandemic. There's no reason why our generation should be exempt from what so many other generations have gone through. And so we knew that this was a huge possibility, and here it is. And it's not because nefarious things are going on, it's because this is real and it's serious. Whereas with Hansen's disease, what we found out later is that actually only about 5% of the population is even can even get it. Like 95% of the population is just completely immune to Hansen's disease. You can never get it. And so it turned out to not at all be the kind of thing that warranted the kind of response that it did. Versus, I just want to make it clear, I'm not drawing a parallel with coronavirus, because I absolutely don't believe that's the case with coronavirus, just from my own research and what the experts are saying. Listen to the experts and take it seriously. Wash your hands, follow your health recommendations, wear your masks, protect your family and your community. Thank you. All right, now getting into our info today, we're going to talk a little bit about what the actual settlement was like and also some of the people that lived there. So I also uploaded, there's a folder now in the, yay, Gloria's here. Hi, Gloria. All the way from Costa Rica. If you look over in the chat box, you'll see that there's the Google Drive link, and I uploaded a bunch of photos in a folder called Photos, and you can see what the settlement looked like, where exactly it is. If you look at a map of the island of Molokai, you can see it really easily. It's like, I always say it looks like a shark fin on top of the island, and that's the peninsula where you had Kalaupapa on the west side of that peninsula where the community was set up. Yeah, not the same. Very important to say that out there. I was like, I hope people don't think that I'm trying to draw a parallel with like the overreaction on Hansen's disease and like what I consider, because I don't think nobody's overreacting at all for coronavirus. Take it seriously, folks, please. Okay, so when last we left our community, the Department of Health had purchased this land in that peninsula because they looked at it and they're like, oh great, here's a whole tract of land that's like virtually inaccessible because the bottom half, the part of this peninsula that's attached to the rest of the island is like all big, huge, like 2,000-foot cliffs that are only accessible via plane, via mule, but it was like very precarious and scary. So people were, oh, Zyla, you've been there? Zyla's been to Kalopa. I've never been there, but it does look really, really beautiful. And it had good land for growing crops. It had good fresh water. So they were like, oh, great, everything they need. And then they, in 1866, starting with the first 17 people, the government started sending people that had been diagnosed with Hansen's disease there. And then eventually over the next like 100 years, over 8,000 people total would be sent there throughout. And then quarantine was lifted in 1969, which, you know, again, this is not that long ago. So because the Board of Health had decided that they were like really concerned with what all this was going to cost, they not only instituted these rules where these people would be taken there against their will, but that because they were sick, but that these people were also expected to be entirely self-sufficient. So they know that these people are ill. They're not getting that great of medical care. And they're like, great, all right, go ahead and grow all your own crops. You better build your own houses. Like they just like expected them to build their own community, despite the fact that they were supposedly being sent there because they were ill. Life was a mixture. When you discuss the circumstances of the people there at Kalaupapa, it's really sad. What happened to them is a huge tragedy. But there's also a lot of beauty in it when you hear about the way that they describe the community that they built. And that's a testament to the people that were living there. There were a lot of hardships visited on them, you know, like, again, these are people who are sick, who are afflicted with this thing that's causing nerve damage. It's causing, you know, they're developing skin infections because they don't realize they've got injuries. They're developing blindness, and a lot of them are passing away. And so this illness is kind of all around them. And then there were other things, other social issues that were being, you know, put upon them. Like, one of the most damaging of these is that babies that were born to people were not allowed to stay with the parents. They would take these people's babies right away from them. As soon as they were born, they take the baby away. And that's something that we'll talk a little bit more about. But on the other hand, there was also a really beautiful community there. You know, the joys of life were present there, right? They had dances and musical performances and churches and lei making contests. And I found a thing, over 1,000 couples got married there just between 1900 and 1930. Over 1,000 couples, which is beautiful, or finding love, you know. So the people really banded together to take care of each other. There were not a lot of children because, generally speaking, like, again, children were not allowed to visit. And also, again, those babies were being taken away from the island. So there weren't a lot of children. The only children that were there were children that were diagnosed, and that wasn't happening very often. So the few kids that were there were like they were like spoiled by everyone. They had all these aunties and uncles just adoring them. You know, you think about people probably missing their own babies because people were just taken from their families with it was just like, oh, we've diagnosed you with Hansen's disease. You're done. Like, you're never going to see your family again. So people were dealing with the trauma of just being removed from their communities and removed from the people that they loved the most. But they were coming into this community where they were really embraced. And so over time, people were able to form their own families within Kalaupapa, including the kids that were coming there. The kids would go there and find themselves just, you know, spoiled and loved so much by the other folks there. And yeah. Again, the few kids that were there, they were screening them in schools. So there's one woman who, there's a testimony from one woman who said she she was screened at school and she was sent to Kalaupapa without her parents. And then after she lived there for 30 years before she was finally cured, she was deemed cured and then released. And she wrote to her mother wanting to come visit her and see where she'd been born. And her mother told her not to come home, that she should stay there at Kalaupapa. She'd been disfigured by the disease. And I'm sure there are lots of reasons to unpack in that family dynamic of why that might have been the case. But still, a lot of them faced a lot of rejection if and when they were allowed to leave Kalaupapa. They were going back to communities that many times, people would, out of still that instilled fear and everything, they were rejected. So a lot of them would go back to Kalaupapa. They're like, well, this is my home. These are the people that had. So the prospect of being torn away from their new families, they were just like, I don't want to lose my family again, just like I had before. And so they would stay at Kalaupapa even after they could leave. Yeah. So this includes a lot of stigma on the families left behind. Yeah, Zyla makes a great point. This exactly. If somebody had a family member that was taken, the other people in the neighborhood would be looking at this family like they were less than, or like they were dirty, or they were, again, associated with sin and things like that are just like, as if these families aren't going through enough, they face a lot of stigma and backlash from their communities. And so, yeah, that's a really good point to make about, the prospect of their family members returning and them, all those fresh wounds being opened. A lot of the things that I look at with history, I think it's important to look at. You can examine something and recognize right and wrong without including judgment on that. We can recognize right and wrong treatment of people without, just being casting judgment, without understanding all the dynamics that were at play at the time. And then we can learn from that ourselves and how we would do things differently. Some of the residents included Ernest Kala, who he was the composer of our song in Kini. He was born in 1897. He was a resident of Kalaupapa. He had Hansen's disease, and he was also a lay minister and choir master for Kana'anaho Church. So he wrote other songs, arrangements, and he passed away in 1980. Just want to touch on one more person. We're going to talk about some other people, including Father Damien and all that stuff. We'll talk about those folks another day, but I just wanted to talk specifically about the residents, because the residents are they're the heroes of this story. That included a woman named Olivia Rebello Breitha, who just sounds so inspirational to me. She was 18 years old and about to be married when she was diagnosed. She was having stomach pains and they thought it might be appendicitis, so they took her to the hospital to be screened for it. And the nurse was like, "Oh, can I just scrape your skin?" And she was like, "Sure, why not?" And then a few days later, this guy shows up at their house and he's like, "Yeah, you had a leprosy test and you have it, and I'm here to take you away." She said they didn't even give her like a few days to put affairs in order, nothing. She had no symptoms of the disease at all. And just this guy shows up and is like, "You're coming with me." And there's nothing anybody could do about it. So at first they sent her to Kalihi, to a settlement that was there, and she was doing work and all this stuff. And then later on, again, this was before she had any symptoms, she said that she was doing things like while she was in Kalihi, she'd like sneak out and go to the movies with her friends and stuff like that. But then they sent her to Kalaupapa. And she lived there for most of her life. Well, I don't know if it's most of her life, but she lived there for decades, and she got married also. But again, her and her husband decided not to have children because the children were being taken from the families. So they decided to not have, people having to make those decisions is just heartbreaking, and it should never happen. But she was out later, and she says she was inspired. She watched an episode of MASH. and they made some really insensitive comments about people with Hansen's disease. And she was inspired to write a book about her life, write her autobiography, and she became an advocate for the rights of people with Hansen's disease until she passed away in 2006. She's just an amazing lady. I just wanted to read this quote from her. She said, "My name is Olivia. It's not Leper. I wrote a book because I wanted people to know what I feel, what I felt, how much I struggled, fighting the disease, fighting ignorance, fighting bureaucrats, fighting that hurtful word, trying not to be a statistic, trying to be a person." Again, that was Olivia Rebello Breitha, incredible lady. You can get her book. It's called, I think it's called Olivia. I can't remember the rest of the title, but I'll link to it on Amazon. And you guys can check it out. Okay, so that gives you a sense of the people that kind of, you've got this beautiful close-knit community that developed in this place, and Ernest Kala was inspired to write this song to rally them all together and kind of demand that they be seen as the human beings that they are, and all the rights that they deserve as accordingly. And this is very much an empowering song, and for me, I feel like we can, sing this song and dance this song in solidarity with these people through history. We can reach out to these people in the past and say to them, you deserved better, and we're going to learn from what you went through, and we're going to use your experience to make sure that other people don't have to be treated like that in the future. So I want you to think about how in your day-to-day life you can be inspired by what you might learn from these folks and the things that they went through, so that it's not in vain. We can be better. We can be better because of what they experienced, if nothing else, right? So let's get back to you'll see the lyrics in that Google Doc. We're going to work on our, yes. I've heard other people they didn't realize that this song came from Kalaupapa, and it's like, it just infuses it with so much more meaning, because you hear it, it's like on its surface, it's just, you look at the lyrics and you're like, yeah, this is so empowering. It's just like motivating. It feels very unifying. And then when you read about the circumstances that this song was actually composed, then it's like, wow, you know that this came from, people whose happiness was really hard fought. And we're going to talk also about the future of Kalaupapa, and also how things kind of resolved and the residents, and it's all kind of a mess, but we'll get there. All right, so we're going to get into our chorus today. If you look at our hui, we're going to sing that I ka lave, lave alilo, I ka pono, pono amau. So what we're saying there is, you look at the lyrics again, I ka lave, lave is like, it's translated as like acquire, and it's like, lave is like taking something, it's like take it and get it, kind of. I ka pono. Pono, again, it has so many different meanings, not one of which encapsulates all of what the word pono means. But for me, my favorite kind of word for pono is, what makes most sense to me is the word balance. Because I think when something is pono, you are keeping things in balance. And that means it's kind of what's right, Paio no ponoe e na kini o ka ʻaina. Paio is like to fight, to argue, to quarrel. It's like fight for what's right. Fight for your rights. And it's saying e na kini o ka ʻaina. Again, the multitudes, the people, these groups of people of the land. Na kini o ka ʻaina. I ka lave, lave alilo. I ka pono, pono amau. Wa mau ke eo ka ʻaina I ka pono. Again, wa mau ke eo ka ʻaina I ka pono. If you know that phrase, it might sound familiar as the state motto. And it's usually translated as, the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. I don't know about you. I don't know what that means. I always was just like, oh, when I learned about that, but when you actually learn what wamau ke eo ka ʻaina I ka pono actually means, then you know that it's the life of the land is perpetuated righteousness. You start to see the messiness of one-to-one translation in terms of languages, and this is true for all languages, but especially of this. It's like that phrase was originally coined by Kamehameha III in 1843 after the British had this guy had went rogue, and he tried to claim it's a long story, but he tried to claim the islands for the British. And basically Kamehameha III was like, okay, I'll let you pretend that you all have, sovereignty, that you all are claiming this, but we have treaties with the king. We have a relationship with your government, and they're not going to stand for this. And he was right. 5 months later, that guy got word that what he was doing was not cool, and he had to knock it off and basically give the people back their land, their islands. He had to restore sovereignty was restored to the Hawaiian kingdom, and that is on the anniversary on that day, which is now marked with the holiday La Ho'i Ho'i Ea. Kamehameha III said that in his speech. Wamau ke ea o ka ʻaina I ka pono, and the word ea is translated as life. In life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness, but ea actually means sovereignty. Also, ea means sovereignty, and what he was saying there is not. It's not this weird phrase that sort of doesn't mean, I don't know what that really means. What he's saying is the sovereignty of this land, our sovereignty, has been restored because that's what is pono. And so the fact that it's now the state model is no small irony. But yeah, anyway, so that's our chorus for today. Enough talking. Sorry I've talked so much, but oh well, I don't know. You can fast forward it later if you want to. Okay? All right. Let's focus so that we can keep going. Let's focus on the chorus. And then next week we'll review both. We'll review both together, the first and second verse. Okay. So jump up. All right. So we're starting with, and don't forget, I want you to learn this song so you can sing it. Right? So we're starting. I ka lave alilo. Yay. Oh, good. Okay, good. I hope people aren't like, oh, eating lunch while I'm, anyway. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so we go. I ka lave alilo, I ka pono amo. All right, so we say I ka lave. What we're going to do, again, I'm mirroring you right now. So we're going to kaholo to the right and left, and then we're going to side kaholo right and left. So just with the feet, we're just going to kaholo right and left. Now side kaholo, right and left. Now remember what I was saying before about your side kaholo. I want you to make sure you've lined up your feet and make sure that you're turning to the side like this. Your feet are lined up. You're not stepping too far back like this, and that we're seeing like this thing back here, like that. What we want to see is here. See that side view? Okay? So hands, we're going to go here. Hand goes out, palm is down, and you're bringing here to the center like this, and then here to the center like that. And that's on your kaholo. So we're going kaholo right and left. Now our left hand is going to go out, so straight out. Keep this one here, like this. This one's going straight out, right and left. Okay, again, 5, 6, 7, go. Right, left, and left, right, and right, and left, right, left. Okay, a little bit faster, and ready? 5, 6, 7, go. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Okay? I ka pono amo. Paio no e ka pono e. All right, so we're gonna go from hands are gonna go. All right, let's start with the feet. So we're going to aloha down and then up on the left. So it goes down, right, up, left, but we're going to go all the way down. If you're, I'm a little bit sore, so I might not go all the way down. If you can go all the way down, I want you to. I want, like he's giving me he's telling me I have to go all the way down. All right, all right. Yes, I know. So we're going to go all the way down and up, and then we kahala, point right and left. Okay? We go down, up, right, left. When you go down, I want you to make sure that you are keeping your back straight. What does that mean? That means your shoulders, your hips, and your ankles are staying lined up here, right? It does not mean that you are bending like this and keeping your back straight. When you go down and up, you need to stay here. You need to keep that line. So what we want to avoid is this. Don't match me. I want you to avoid this. Right? Okay? So watch out, buddy. Down and up. All right, hands. We're going to go here. Fling it down. And then crossing up. Can you see those hands? I'm going down, up, this, here, here. Strong, strong, strong. Feel down, up. Okay, so, and this is on the down, up. So, no, one, two, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. I wanted to give you the counts of the hand motions there. But I think you got it. When you hear the song, it's a lot easier. Because it goes like this. It goes, Paio no e kapono e na kini o ʻaina. You'll see the counts. I don't know why I'm looking at you. I'm like, got it? Anyway. All right, so let's try it with counts, and I think it should work. Ready? Starting with your kaholo, side kaholo. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Side kaholo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ha aleva. Down, up, kahela, kahela. Yeah? Now we're going to go from here. Again, your hands are up in fists at the top there. We're going to go side kaholo. Again, your right hand is going to go to your hip. Your left hand is going to hit your shoulder here and open. Not hard. This isn't, we don't need to abuse ourselves, but it's just like a strong, like a tap. Tapping with your here, open. And then when you get to this side, this hand comes here. Again, you're in your fists and hit, open. Okay? You're going hit, present, open. E na kini to the multitudes o ʻaina. ʻaina. Right? That's your land. All right, let's go back to down, down, up. Okay, ready? 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This was a tap. This is a hit. Hit it. Just like make it, you can do that without hurting yourself. Just do it. Ready? From the beginning. 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ha aleva. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe not that hard. That was very dramatic. But just make it known that you hit there. Okay, ready? Again, 5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Side kaholo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah? Should we try that with music? Let's do it. Whew. Let's do. It's fast, I know. Oh, no. Ready, here we go. And 5, 6, 7, go. Cycle. Down, aloha. Let's do it again and go straight back into that same thing. Ika lave, lave alilo, ika pono, pono mau. So you go back into the kaholo from there. Ready? Here we go. 5, 6, 7, go. One more time. And the last little bit of this. 5, 6, 7, go. Let's do the last little bit. So we're going to go. We just finished. Pono amau payo. I kalave, I kapono. Uamau ke'eo kaina I kapono. So we're going to go. We're going to, here, let's do the feet first. So we're going to go ha'aleva, right, left. Oh, wait, let me scoot over here. We're going to go ha'aleva, right, left, then kaholo huli, right, left, right, tap, and then we kaholo left and right. Okay, do it again. And 5, 6, 7, go. Ha'aleva, right, left, huli, right, left, right, tap, kaholo, left, and right. Okay? Then we're going to do the same thing but backwards. We're going to go ha'aleva, left, right, huli, left, right, kaholo, right, and left, right, left. Okay, but let's start with the first one. So we're going uamo. We're going to circle here. Now we're circling like this. This isn't like, again, I'm mirroring you, so this is on your right side. No, this is on your left side by your heart, but this isn't like a move like you do, like specifically kind of referring to your heart or your poli or whatever. It's like this. It's going mo. This thing is, it goes on and on. It goes on and on and on. It continues on. That's this, right? Now again, it's this. So it's not this over your heart, but it's also not this. Okay? Like just kind of slow, but continues, it perpetuates. And then we're gonna open. So this is on your ha'aleva, and then open here. And then we're going to kaholo in, and then over. Okay? This is like, for me, again, when I think of pono, I think of balance. And I think of things, when things are right, things are in balance. It doesn't mean things are easy, and it doesn't mean things are just without difficulty and pain, but the fact is that's life, right? That's nature. For things to be in balance, it doesn't mean everyone's just like happy and there's never nothing bad ever happens, because things still do, you know, but things have to, for the overall health of everybody, things have to have some kind of balance. So that's what I think of when I think of pono for me personally. So that's this. So again, just going back over those hand motions, let's ha'aleva. We ha'aleva right, left, open, bring it in kaholo, and then here, place. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Again, roll, roll, open, bring it in. Oh, for this one, sorry. For this one, you have to bring it straight in here like this, because then we're going to be here again. Because that ends up with the dun, dun. Am I making any sense? So this is what it looks like. Let's start with the first one of those. So get ready. We're going to kaholo to the right, or ha'aleva right, left, then kaholo huli. Ready? And we go, uamo ke'ea o ʻaina I ka pono. Uamo ke'ea o ʻaina I ka pono. Dun, dun. So you're just finishing with the kaholo to the right. You're not finishing it with the kaholo to the left. Okay? So let's walk that again. Ready? Sing it with me now. Ready? Uamo ke'ea o ʻaina I ka pono. Uamo ke'ea o ʻaina I ka pono. Dun, dun. Yeah. Left over, right on pono. Let's go right over left. Right over left. I think I'm trying to mirror it for you, but then I end up going right over left because I'm just used to that. But so mine should be this, but right on top of left. Okay, yeah. All right, let's walk it one more time and a little bit faster. And ready? And uamo ke'ea o ʻaina I ka pono. Uamo ke'ea o ʻaina I ka pono. Bum, bum. Okay? Sorry for my singing, but you should be singing too. So if you're singing, you shouldn't even be able to hear me. So not sorry. Here, let's try the music. From the beginning, let's see how this all fits together. And you go 5, 6, 7, go. Yeah. Hello.
Na mamo o Hawaii e alamai
5, 6, 7,
I kalave I kapondo Haiondo kapondo e nakini o ʻaina I kalave I kapondo Uamau ke o ʻaina I kapono Uamau ke o ʻaina I kapono E nā moku puni o Hawaii nei E alamai E nā
Let's do it again. Then we'll try it from the beginning.
E nā kini o ka ʻaina E nā mamo o Hawaii nei E alamai
5, 6,
I
7,
kalave I ka pono Haiono ka pono E nā kini o ka ʻaina I kalave I ka pono Uamau ke o ka ʻaina I ka pono Uamau ke o ka ʻaina I ka pono E nā moku puni o Hawaii nei E alamai
Giggly.
E nā
I don't know how I don't kick Lincoln more. I don't know how he gets away. How he gets away from that. Okay, let's go from the beginning, shall we? If you haven't got the breakdown of the first verse, no worries. Follow along till we get to the chorus, and then go back later and learn it from last week's video, or we'll review both next week. Here we go. We'll talk about this intro later.
Ele kia e oniapa E nā kini e oniapa
Remember, we're starting with our Kini bye-bye.
E nā moku
And then
puni
let it
e
Ready?
oniapa
And
E
bye-bye.
nā kini o ka ʻaina e alamai E nā mamo Hawaii nei e alamai Ai mua e nā poki Ai nui ka wai awa awa Ai mau
here.
kalana ki lahe E nā kini o ka ʻaina E nā mamo o Hawaii nei E alamai I ka lawe I ka pono Haiono ka pono E nā kini o ka ʻaina I ka lawe I ka pono Uamau ke o ka ʻaina I ka pono Uamau ke o ka ʻaina I ka pono E nā moku puni o Hawaii nei E alamai
Yes, let's do it one more time from the top. I messed up that time because I pointed my right toe on this. I don't know if I did it both times, but I at least did it the second time. But I'm mirroring you, so you should be pointing your right toe. For me, it should be my left. And the reason why it's important is because when you are going into the chorus, then you need that right toe out so that you can go into that kaholo. So I had mistakenly put my wrong foot out, and then when I need to go in that kaholo, I was like, oh, I got to do a correction there. So make sure it's your right toe that's pointing out when you do your e alamai. Hanaho. One more time, and we'll be done. Good work, everybody.
Ia e oniapa E nā kini e oniapa E nā wahi e oniapa E nā moku puni e oniapa E nā kini o ka ʻaina e alamai E nā mamo Hawaii nei e alamai Ai mua e nā poki Ai nui ka wai awa awa Ai mau Kalana kilahe e na kini o ʻaina e na mamo o Hawaii e alamai I kalale I kapono Haiono kapono e na kini o ʻaina I kalale I kapono Uamau e o ʻaina I kapono Uamau e o ʻaina I kapono E nā mokupuni o Hawaii nei e alamai.
Okay. All right. Good work, everybody. Okay, so practice the song. If you haven't bought it on Amazon or iTunes, is also on YouTube. So you can find it there. Be careful. Almost. Yes. I think I almost had it there too. Next week, we will walk back through the first and second verses. And if you've almost got it, keep practicing it after I'm done with this class if you have time. Keep running through it a few more times and trying it out, because try and lock in what you've learned or write it down, whatever you need to do. Ooh, I got red marks. And yeah, just so that, because what happens is, like, if you go, okay, I'm done with class, and then you go like grab your lunch or your dinner, wherever you are, and I still kick my foot out funny on namamo. Yeah. Oh, on your lele uehe, like a step brush uehe. That might be, there's two with your lele uehe. There's another kind of lele. It's a step brush uehe, which is instead of this is your regular lele uehe, but there's also a step brush uehe, which some kumu, I've learned from some workshops that I've taken, like some kumu, they use step brush uehe tons and like hardly any lele uehe, so, or at least like from what I was learning from them. So I think for some people, they're more used to doing that. So then when you do your lele uehe, your like foot wants to scrape the bottom like this. So it's good to practice both. Yeah. Yes, which is so common, especially with, Zella says, yeah, instead of actually doing the step, I'm just kicking to make sure my hands are right, which is so common because we go on autopilot for a lot of these steps because we're focused on our hands, because usually our hands are doing something more complex. But then we get to a move like the lele uehe, where our feet are doing something a little bit more complex, but we're still used to focusing more on our hands because so then we don't even notice our feet are doing kind of funny things, which is, for me, something really important as a teacher to draw attention to, because that manifests across the board in all kinds of funny foot stuff. So for things like traveling, so if you're doing your ha'aleva and you're going forward and back, when you get to a lot of folks, especially beginner hula dancers, when they get back to like their spot where they're not traveling anymore, their feet are still stepping because they're not even noticing it. They're thinking about their hips. They're thinking about bending low. If there's a hand motion, they're thinking about that. They're not thinking about their feet because their feet are like 5 feet away or whatever. The same thing happens when you have an arm that is kind of tucked out of the way, and this other arm is doing something like, fancier. You think so much about this that you don't notice your elbow has like totally collapsed back. Or if this hand's here, you don't notice that you're like this because you're so focused on this one that's doing. So I'm always like, don't ignore the one back there that you think is good. You got to make sure that you've got it where you want it to be. It's not just, phoning it in back there because you're focused on the one that's moving. So there's all those kinds of little things. And, that's why I really encourage everybody to record yourselves and look for those little things that you might be doing that you don't notice, because it can really be helpful. There's been times where I've had students, especially keiki students, where I'm like, they're doing something kind of weird, like with their uwehe. Like when I'm demonstrating uwehe, I give this huge step. I don't know why I do it. I'm just like step, puff out, step, puff out my hand. My foot goes all the way up. And then I see these students taking these huge steps. And I'm like, don't take such a big step. Why are you doing that? And I realize they're all doing it because I'm doing it. So it's important to watch yourself dancing and look for those little things. And you can really kind of identify, putting a little bit of attention, build that muscle memory, and smooth out that problem. It's really, really valuable. Okay, I think that's all for today. Good work, everybody. I am really happy we're doing this song. I hope you are as inspired by all these folks as I am. And I hope that you will think about what you can learn from them and the things that they went through and how we can apply that to what's happening now. And again, I think it's about, for me, it's about looking and seeing the consequences of fear. And fear causes people to do all kinds of you know, all kinds of wild things. And for me, when I look at things like, you know, COVID, and I have a lot of fear about it, but I choose to take control of that fear by doing things that I know will be helpful for my community and my family and the people around me, which is to make sure that I'm following the guidelines, to make sure I'm staying educated on what are the stats in my area, and making sure that I'm doing my part to stop the transmission, to lessen the chance that I might, you know, help pass it on to other people by taking control of those things for myself, and taking my responsibility to do my part and be a good community member. I feel like for me, it helps me feel like I have more of a handle on, you know, on that, the things, the stress. If you have stress about things you can't control, then you got to focus on the things that you can control. Yeah. Yes. Be nice. I love that. Be nice. Educate your fear. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Couldn't have said it better myself. Do all those things. Take good care of yourself. And I will see you in a couple days for more La'iei Kawai. I will see you online. I'll post the link to that, to Olivia's autobiography, and also some other resources on where I'm finding a lot of info about Kalaupapa. And check out those photos in the Google Drive. All right. Mahalo nui, everybody. Ahui ho. See you in a couple days or next week. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Mahalo. Thank you for joining me.